First of all, I'd like to thank the organizer for inviting me to share our view on what is happening on the breeding program worldwide, on the evolution of the kiwifruit industry and what are the breeding program doing globally. First of all, having a look at the kiwifruit industry worldwide, we could see that in the last 20 years, the industry had a phenomenal growth, experienced a phenomenal growth with doubling almost the amount of fruit traded. Um, the industry is still, by large, can be considered still a monocultivar industry, still based mainly on Hayward worldwide. Although this growth that we saw in the last 10, 20 years is generally driven by the development and the cultivation of novel cultivars. In particular, if we check what is happening in New Zealand, which is can be still considered, although is by far the leading country in the industry, they are in the process of converting what was the traditional Hayward with the novel cultivar, and particularly with the gold kiwi fruit, and recently even with the introduction of the red cultivar. And so, as I was saying, there has been slowly a replacement of the traditional Hayward and all the introduction of novel cultivars. And what happened when we introduced this novel cultivar into the market? Well, first of all, we have introduced new species into the domestication of the crop, because these are all of these are actually cultivar fruit of Actinidia chinensis and not anymore deliciosa. And so that we introduce also new aroma and taste. These usually are a sweeter fruit, which actually help and was the reason why it was so successful, the introduction of novel cultivars. But what happened on the market is actually we have segmented the market for a different type of kiwi fruit according to their flesh color. Now we talk about green kiwi fruit, yellow or gold kiwi fruit, red kiwi fruit, fully red, bicolor. So giving even more space to what can be new kiwi fruit. It's not only we're not talking any longer only of kiwi fruit. We're now talking about different type of kiwi fruit for the markets. And so if we look now, we have a range of new varieties, in particularly on the gold sector. There has been quite a flourish of new proposal. And recently also on the red, we see a growing number of new cultivars. All of these new cultivars have, and only recently we could see also some new proposal on the green, on the more traditional green sector, with new cultivars appearing also for a new green kiwi fruit. All these new cultivars have traits that have been mainly consumer focus or market focus, color, taste, appearance. But of course, all of them have to have also satisfy also the needs of growers and all the pipeline, so yield potential, storage, and so on, and sustainability. In fact, now with the growth of the industry and the evolution and the domestication of the crop, through the years, there have been a few challenges that appear. And the first of all, for sure, or the most important, was the breakout of the bacterial disease PSA, which is still a major limiting factor for some cultivars, in particular on the red selection, is still one of the main challenges that the industry is facing. I have to say that among the yellow and green varieties, there is a quite a good tolerance that we can see in the orchards that will allow growers to manage commercially the crop and the cultivation of these varieties. Also, true resistance so far it has been identified only in Arguta species or closely related species. In Deliciosa and Chinensis, we talk mainly of tolerance and the different level of tolerance. Lately, in Italy, particularly, we have now a new condition which has been called acute vine decline syndrome or moria, as we call it in Italy, KVDS, which end up to be a major challenge in many production areas, uh, forcing grower and the industry to move out from Deliciosa from the use of Deliciosa rootstock, of which actually Hayward itself is not anymore suitable for cultivation in these soils in this territory, but that has pushed the industry to look intensively for for new rootstock, for new alternative to allow the cultivation and management of a food industry even on these areas. And that is opening also the opportunity to look for other traits that we could actually solve. And so far, we've been overlooking the need and the development of new rootstock. In particular, of course, what we ask now for to new rootstock is tolerance to KVDS, but also adaptation to heavy soils, tolerance to high pH, lime, or suitable for replanting, in particular in Italy, but in many areas of the world, replanting will soon become a big problem. We know that replanting of Hayward on Hayward is not always successful, so new rootstock might help on solving this issue as it happened also in other industries. And maybe also to improve vine management and improve yield and uh, orchard management. Of the new rootstock, Bounty 71 is a relatively recent release. And I think we can say that among the clone or rootstock develop is probably now the more common and more diffuse. It has been selected in New Zealand by Plant and Food, mainly with the goal to improve yield and dry matter on a gold chinensis. It ended up to perform particularly well in difficult soil condition and in Italy. It has been shown to sustain and to survive in this soil affected by KVDS, while Hayward, as we said before, was not anymore suitable. So the implementation of microsperma now is quite widely used in Italy, in particular in the soil affected by KVDS. It works reasonably well with, or very well with Chinensis cultivar, maybe not with the same level with every cultivars, but the main problem has been that on Hayward, unfortunately, it looked like to have a degree of incompatibility, or let's say not in every case the combination works very well. So for this kind of combination and to allow the management of Hayward and probably any delicious orchard will need an alternative rootstock. And that at the moment the industry is testing and evaluating new other rootstock that have been recently proposed to market. Most of them are still on a testing period or validation period. Strong interest is around the Valvata species. Now we see more than one rootstock that are different clones of the Valvata species. Um, this species has already been used in China for difficult soils, but there are also other hybrids that are now available for testing. As I said, it's a long term, but all of these are need to be tested and evaluated, either in the different soil, in different climate, and with the combination with different cultivars. As I said, different climates, because probably this is what is gonna be the next big challenge for the gift industry worldwide. Uh, Climate change is happening in some area. We already know and see the impact on the agriculture will be quite significant. And the Mediterranean has been identified as one of the hotspot where this increase of temperature will happen much faster than globally. But New Zealand as well, as predicted by 2060, the Bay of Plenty, which is the most cultivated area, will be becoming more subtropical like Northland. So there will be definitely an impact on the cultivar and on the management of the orchards. We could already see in Italy that Hayward, for example, is not performing anymore at a level that we can define satisfactory. In the last 4 years, the average production of Hayward orchard dropped below 20 tons an hectare. That is not a sustainable production. It's not sustainable for a commercial orchard. Of course, climate is not only climate change, there are different factors influencing it, but that is the situation, the reality where the industry is sitting at the moment. On a good side, we could see that we have different genotypes in evaluation that in the same condition, same climatic conditions, same soils, are performing much better, even genotypes of Chinensis, genotype of Deliciosa. So in the germoplasm, we can see there is the diversity and there is the resources to find alternative cultivars that can perform even in this new condition or different condition. So far, only a small part of germplasm has been utilized by breeder, mainly focus on the two species, Actinidia chinensis and Deliciosa. But even within the species, there is still a wide diversity that can be explored for fruit characteristic, wine characteristic, color, quality, uh, chilling unit required, and so on. And breeders are already started to explore this diversity on the germoplasm, this diversity available. In particular, as I said, in the rootstock, now we are testing different species and hybrids among species. There's already also one cultivar that has been released recently, which is an interspecific hybrid. But there will be also novel traits that now can be introduced and evaluated and probably introduced from different species, like, for example, resistance or resilience. And the probably most interesting diverse trait that is coming soon or might be coming soon available will be hermaphroditism. We all know that kiwifruit is a dioecious species that has been quite a strong limiting factor for orchard management and for breeding programming particularly. This diocese has been overcome already in New Zealand through a traditional breeding program in the Deliciosa species over a very long research project. It's almost 40, well, 35, 40 years of activities around it, and they've been successful to introduce these characteristic into their populations. But now, in the last 5 years, scientists have identified the gene determining the sex of the vines. These two genes located into the Y chromosome. And we all know that with the use of the new breeding technology, such as CRISPR-Cas and genome editing, it's possible to break this diatheism, break this limitation, converting or obtaining a full hermaphrodite vine starting from a female plant or also from and male plants. Seems to be a bit easier starting from a female plant, but the scientists have shown that it's possible to do it either way. Of course, this will have an impact. Well, uh, adopting this kind of technology might not be possible in every part of the world. Unfortunately, Europe still has to make their mind around it, if what will be the regulation and around this kind of new cultivars, but it's also not clear also how this will be regulated, utilizing this technology where there are patent and in combination of plant breeding rights. So there are still some areas that need to be clear. And that is just to give an overview of what is happening and what and where the breeding program are going and what are the new the novelties that might be appearing and be available for commercialization soon, probably sooner than later. One last point that I want to share with about the new cultivars is that in kiwi fruit, I would say that probably, if not all, most of the new cultivars that have been released are now managed through a club system or a club model. They are not free release. Uh, so, what it means that, of course, a good cultivar is essential for the success of the project, but it's not sufficient, or is not any more sufficient on itself. It's going to be very important also to know, and the club that is managing this variety is becoming as relevant or as important in determining the success that can have the project. I finish here with the overlook. I take the opportunity to share with you 3 or 4 slides about this new project that has been released in Italy in the last few years, very few years. This a new kiwi, we believe to be the first real innovation in the green flesh sector. Uh, it originated from an Italian breeding program where we have selected for a new green kiwi, which is not a deliciosa, is a Chinensis. Does perform very well in Italy in terms of productivity, yield, fruit size. They are very satisfactory, and we sell last year also managing commercially that the pack out and the management on the pack house was really good. So lot of optimism around it. But the most interesting part of or the key aspect of this novel fruit that we propose to market is the taste of the fruit, which is bringing the real novelty into the green sector. In fact, this fruit, from consumer test and expert panelists, they have confirmed that the fruit is sweeter, but the aroma and the taste of this fruit is quite unique compared to the more traditional green kiwi fruit, and also different from what is the yellow kiwi fruit itself. We have a mix here, a good balance between the acidity of the green kiwi fruit with the sweetness and the aroma of a yellow kiwi fruit, giving it a unique taste, which we are not the only ones saying it. In the last few years of panel test, consumer really confirmed their appreciation, and the latest last year it won the prize for Sabor do Anno into the Spanish and Portuguese market. So the goal of the project is to have to propose to the market a new standard for premium kiwi fruit, which will allow sustainable production, but a great opportunity for growers, marketers, and a good fruit and healthy fruit for consumers. In Italy, the project is managed by three main cooperative groups, Allegra, Fruit, and Orogel Fresco. In Chile, we are collaborating with Univiveros, which is the partner nursery of the project, and together we look for expression of interest from growers and marketers for developing the project in Chile as well.